This time last year, the spring of '07, I was enjoying myself. I had just released my book, From the Heart, 7 Rules to Live By, and so I was going around the country and sharing with people my rules to live by and asking what theirs are. And as was said earlier, yes, by Al, I believe in putting yourself in position for good things to happen to you. You can hope and you can pray and you wish all you want, but proximity is power. You have to put yourself in position to take the shot. Even if your knees are shaking, to still be in that position to take the shot. And that's one of my first goals, my first rules that I live by. To dream big, but focus small. I mean, it's great to I have goals and big dreams and that, but the day-to-day things, that's what you need to focus on to get you to your ultimate goal and dream. If at first you don't succeed, dive back in. You know, the door is closed, dive through the window, get in there any kind of way you can. Never lose sight of that big picture. Never play the race, gender, or any other kind of card. Focus on the solution, not the problem. Keep faith, family, and friends close to your heart. So all these things I'm going around the country and I'm talking about, and it's been always in my back pocket when I really needed it, when something was, a challenge was before me. Well, the summer of '07, I take a rare 2-week vacation. And right before I'm about to go out on vacation, my beloved colleague, Joel Siegel, passed away. He died after a courageous, and I mean courageous, battle with colon cancer. So I delayed my trip, and I went to the funeral, and then I headed off on vacation with a heavy heart. During vacation at Good Morning America, we decided to have a tribute show for Joel, so I came back for that. And one of the segments that I did on the show, it was great, because Joel was just a lovely, lovely human being. He loved and embraced life. And Charlie Gibson came back, and Joe London, and Spencer Christian, and all of us were there just remembering and laughing, and the laughter was really soothing our hearts. And I happened to do a segment on the program in which we heard Joel talk about, had he received a colonoscopy, had he gone for a colonoscopy at the age of 50 instead of 53, that the outcome could have been different for him. And how painful that was for him to know that, if he had gone at 50 instead of 53. And so he had spent his remaining years really talking to people about the importance of cancer screenings and that. So I'm doing this story. That very night, I go to bed, and I fall asleep on my couch. And I wake up, and I'm kind of stretching as I go to bed, and I kind of notice something, a little lump. And I'm like, well, that's kind of odd, that's strange. And, well, maybe I just pulled a muscle, maybe, you sometimes you sleep on the couch in an awkward position. So I went to bed. I woke up, it was still there. Now, I'm still in the second week of my vacation. Normally, I wouldn't have done anything. As my mom says, we're lumpy people. We get lumpy people, we don't have to worry about it. But Joel's message was resonating in my heart and in my soul about taking action, being diligent when it comes to your own health care. And so I made some calls, and the next day, came back into New York. Vacation's over, go back to work, and I made an appointment with a doctor. And it was a new doctor. I couldn't get in to see, I had transferred to a different hospital. I didn't have my doctor yet, but I was able to get in to see, through a colleague of mine had let me see her doctor. So I don't have any history with this man, Dr. Albert Knapp. So I sit down and have to go through, the basics and things like that. And I don't even tell him why I'm really there. I'm just like, I just need a physical. I just need just check under the hood, if you don't mind. And so, we talk and we go into the examining room and he does the examination. I still haven't said anything. And he's about to leave the examining room and I said, oh, Dr. Knapp, before you go, I got this little lump right here, in my right breast. Could you just kind of maybe check it out a little bit? I was chickened out. Here I had put myself in position for good things to happen to me, but my knees were shaking. My knees were really shaking. He came back in. And right away, he said, you need to go for a mammogram and an ultrasound. And it had been already a long day, and I hadn't eaten all day because of all the tests and everything. So I head off, and I was very thankful that the center that I went to, because it was at the end of the day, that they could make room for me to have the mammogram. Mammogram didn't show anything. Mammogram said I was fine. But Dr. Knapp, just like the fine physicians that you had, he knew to also put down an ultrasound for me because of my age and history. And so I had the ultrasound, and lo and behold, 2-centimeter tumor. I could even see it from where I was, could be detected. Had the core biopsy done right then, there in the doctor's office. And the next day I had to go off to work because that's what we do. So they said they'd get the results back in a day or so, and they'd give me a call. So I jet off to Atlanta because I'm on assignment. And I land and I turn on my BlackBerry and my cell phone, and my assistant sent me an email saying, Dr. Knapp's office called. You need to answer your phone. Because she knows sometimes I won't answer my phone when I'm on the road. So the message said, you need to answer the phone when he calls. No sooner had I read her email, we're pulling up to the gate, my phone rings, answer the phone, blah, 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 cancer, blah, 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 cancer. Blah. You know how when you hear it's like, it's like almost like the Peanuts, the adult, blah, 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 cancer. That's all the word I heard, and I'm like, oh, but wait a minute. In the movies, you're in the doctor's office, and the music is playing, and you have your loved one's hand, and you're looking and saying, well, get through this. I was on a plane in public, and I told I had cancer. So I just, gulp and get off the plane. I put on my sunglasses because I'm, as you can imagine, overwhelmed by this knowledge. And I have an assignment. I'm about to interview parents. They lost their only son in the Virginia Tech massacre, and this was their first interview. I needed to comfort them. I wanted to just fall into their arms and say what I had cancer, but I was there to comfort them and do the interview, and had a wonderful time with them. Wonderful, wonderful time with them on the outskirts of Atlanta. But as you heard me say, the Roberts family, we don't roll like that. That's not how we roll. My mother says, make your mess your message. Make your mess your message. She said that I could do more good. I didn't even realize the help that I could give people, that the pain and suffering that I was going through would be minuscule in that I could save others from going through. And so I decided I'd do it. And so I talked to my dear friend, Diane. We call ourselves Thelma and Louise. And some mornings we feel like we're in that convertible about to go over the edge. There wasn't going to have a lot of TV. So I called my Thelma. And we found out how we would do it, and I wanted to wait until I was closer, until I had more information, because all the information was still coming in. And so a few days before I'm having my surgery, I announce and let people know what is going on. And little did I know that, like with everything, you're going to be rewarded tenfold. I wanted to help, and I'm the one that has been helped by the good wishes, the prayers, everything that has come back to me tenfold in this journey. And it is just that, a journey. I had the surgery, my mother, my two sisters, my brother, other family members are all surrounding me, nieces and nephews, and we get through it. And I had the surgery, and it is a tense situation, and it was early, not quite as early as we thought, but still very, very, very treatable. And I'm very blessed that I was able to have the surgery and then to be able to go through the further treatment, the chemotherapy, the radiation, all the time, putting myself in position for good things to happen to me. I know it might seem strange to say that, but it is indeed the case. I have been overwhelmed in sharing my journey with so many people, and my hope was that it would help someone else like myself to be able to understand, to help other people understand. What I didn't even realize, just the little simple things that I was sharing with people, how they would be received. And I didn't have, and I don't have, a handbook to tell me when to do it and not to do it. And what the latest issue was this right here, my hair, or lack thereof. I was wearing a wig because I didn't want to make people uncomfortable. And many people who are going through this, they will tell you, we wear wigs to make you feel better. We're all right, we're fine, but we don't want to make you uncomfortable. So we wear wigs and different things to make. And I think that's all right. We want to make you comfortable. We're going through chemo and everything, but we want to make you comfortable. But that's just how it is. And I didn't want to distract from the stories that I was telling and reporting on. I really didn't. I wanted the story and the news to remain the focus because so much is going on, as always, in our world. But then a few weeks ago, my gut and my heart said it was time. This is who I am. And I realized that I was desperately holding on, desperately trying to be who I was before, to look how I did before I had cancer. But I don't look that way anymore, and that's fine. This is a new normal for me. And again, the response has been absolutely overwhelming. And I think if we just give each other the benefit of the doubt, that we'll always be pleasantly surprised. And I hope, before I take some questions from you, I hope that you realize how important it is to have your rules to live by, to have something in your back pocket when life will throw you that wicked curveball. Because I realized that I was applying those same principles. My knees were shaking, but I did put myself in position for some good things to happen to me by making that call, by going to see the doctor right away, not putting it off as I would have before.